Hey guys. So usually at this time I am doing yoga and I'm getting into the groove and things are going awesome. But I am struggling basically. We've had the Shaw guys out at the box all week trying to work on internet issues because I'm not the only one. Hey mom. And so internet in our whole neighborhood has been terrible, apparently, according to the neighbors and the amount of Shaw people that have been wandering around the last couple of days. And then my computer this morning decided to have some issues. So I'm currently trying to see, it's been 5 minutes, have loaded the Google page. Never mind trying to get to Facebook, never mind trying to load a video. So I even tried using my phone and my cellular data as a hotspot, and that was not working either. So I don't know how to win with these videos. Sometimes it feels very defeating, but at the same time, I keep doing them and I keep trying, mostly because I just straight up love, A, doing yoga, and B, I love being able to do yoga with you guys. So, hey Micheline, you are so encouraging and supportive. Thanks for chiming in for a moment. So it looks like it's working from my phone. So I'm gonna just say screw you to all my fancy gadgets that I have that are supposed to make my life so easy. I will close all these things so it's not distracting. And then maybe, hey Terry, I will be able to, let's just get some yoga done. So hopefully my phone doesn't fall over here. Let's see if we can even see each other if I come onto my mat. Look at this, you can see me. I can lift my arms, you can see most of my mat. What a win. Terry, are the dogs doing yoga with me? Is that what's happening? I say that because one day that happened and it worked really well. So, okay, so let's just do this for my phone and hopefully it'll keep working. Yeah, we'll just go from there. So let's dive on in. I am gonna just hit my little light on here. We'll do 2 brightness. Oh yeah, not quite as bright as yesterday, but a little bit more manageable for my eyes, so that's good. All right, so let's get into our yoga position. So if you want to start seated or laying down this evening, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to start seated tonight. The yin yang class will involve a little bit of movement at first, really slow, kind of gentle. If you want to go hard, you absolutely can. If you want to just take it easy, that's a great option as well. So we'll just warm up the body with a little bit of movement, and then we will start to settle into some longer holds, some more restorative style. So it's not like we're going to be holding a headstand for 5 minutes. No, that's not how I roll. We will just kind of let the body settle, and as you feel it settle, it'll start to stretch out. You can start to let go a little bit more, and it really becomes more practice involving the mind than it does really about the body. Like, it feels great, don't get me wrong. And you can be there and you can leave it just physical, but if you are brave enough to venture more into the mind, getting into how you're feeling, maybe emotionally, maybe just scanning through mentally, or even delving in spiritually, there's all those fun kind of options. So we'll get to that in a bit. First of all, let's just get going. Seems I would usually use my phone as my clock. I'm gonna try real hard to still be done by 9 o'clock. So let's dive on in by taking just a couple of really big, deep breaths. So starting just by taking a nice big inhale, and an exhale, let it out nice and slow. So let's take one more of those. Let's notice how on that inhale, you can even just like get taller. You're breathing in, you're filling everything in, you're creating space. And on that exhale, you can let it go, you can start to relax. So taking a few more of those on that inhale. Maybe roll those shoulders back and down. You find that length through the spine. Maybe you're pressing into the sit bones as you root down, and exhale. Stay nice and tall, but relax through the shoulders, relax the muscles. So that breathing in to find that space, and that exhale to really find that softness. The breath is really quite neat because not only can we breathe a number of different ways, so this is just deep belly breathing, or good old Buddha breath, but we can also use that exhale to either have that softness, or you can use that exhale to engage, to find that strength, to set the muscles. So it's really neat that you can kind of flip things around, and that exhale can become so powerful. So as you're maybe starting to feel the breath, the effect of the breath on the body, maybe you're feeling that release, you're stimulating that parasympathetic nervous system to get all sciencey and geeky on you, that rest and digest. That is when really there's no cortisone being produced, so that's your stress hormone. There's none of that when you're taking those big deep breaths, and that just tells the body, hey, it's time to relax. And so here is your opportunity. If you just simply want to breathe this entire class and ignore everything else, every other movement we do, but you simply just take one big inhale and one big exhale. First of all, that's still doing yoga, and there's tons of benefits to that. So really connecting in with that breath. Notice the movement. Maybe you're breathing through your nose. Can you feel it? The flare of the nose. Can you feel it getting into the throat, starting to fill through maybe the top of the lungs, then through that rib cage, the ribs kind of inflate, puff out. The belly, or the abdomen area as I like to call it, really fills up with air. And then maybe you exhale, starting to let go maybe from the bottom, getting all the air out, finishing off by getting that last sip of air coming out through the nose. So really taking some time to very intentionally take just big breaths at the beginning here. Yeah, we've been doing it for a couple of minutes. Let's just keep going, those nice big breaths. The most relaxing breath we can take is where that exhale is roughly twice as long as that inhale. So if you're feeling extra stressed, maybe really try to lengthen that exhale. You don't have to add a count, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just breathing for a longer period of time than you're inhaling. So as you're continuing on with this breath, maybe you'd like to set an intention for our time together, for our practice. Something, maybe a little mantra, maybe a little word of encouragement. Usually I give suggestions of what a good one will be, but I want you to come up with one on your own. And if you don't want to have one for your practice, I want you to feel the freedom in not having that either. So taking your choice for exactly what you need for this practice. So let's take one more big inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, slowly let it out. And start to wake up through the body. Take a little wiggle into your fingers, maybe wiggle into toes. Maybe you flutter the eyes open. Still finding that length through the spine. So your spine will always have that nice natural curve. We're not trying to make it board straight here, but we are trying to just find that extra bit of length. So imagining your spine is a string, and it's coming all the way out through the top of your head, and someone is just gently pulling on that. So you'll get that little bit of natural traction. You'll make some room for those jelly discs between the vertebrae. Maybe you'll even be taller by the end of it. So imagining almost like you're hanging upside down, that whole upper body becomes weightless, just floating in the air. Bring your hands on top of your knees. Just take a little moment here to press into those sits bones. So the more you press your hips down here, the more you press into your glutes or those sits bones, the more you might be able to get a little taller. But don't start tipping everything up and out just to feel taller by looking up. Keep those ribs pulling in. And then let's warm up through the spine and the shoulders. So inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to take 5 of these big breaths. If you want more, you can start to really reach the hands out here. I know you can't quite see my fingertips, but really reaching out, reaching up. Nice big stretch. Hands come to touch and pull down. So here I'm pushing into my hands as I'm slowly pulling them down. So that might be a nice option for you. So that inhale, reaching up, connecting, pushing into the hands, pulling it down. Beautiful. Got a couple more left here. Just starting to have a little more intention into our movement. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Reach, reach, reach. Nice big exhale. Excellent. Bring those hands, start center. Roll those shoulders back and down. Let's just come into a nice little twist. So simply by reaching for that opposite knee, you can bring that arm reach on out, reach all the way back behind you. Two options here, pressing it in behind the spine, kind of like a second spine. That'll really lengthen through it. Or if you want, you can try to reach for that opposite hip or rest the hand on the back. So playing around with that, you can do a little bind. Maybe you can even really reach that hand around and reach for your toes. I don't got that tonight, but if you got that, I encourage you, give it a shot. And let's twist, maybe just looking over the shoulder. Inhale to lengthen, get nice and tall. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Beautiful. Feeling that all the way through, maybe through the hip, through the abdomen, through the neck. And let's start to release by releasing that hand behind the back, reaching it all the way around, starting to untwist, letting that hand guide you all the way to the other knee. And then opposite hand reaches out. Maybe you flip it around, pressing in behind you to get nice and tall, or reaching for that opposite hip. And then inhale, nice and tall, find that length. Exhale to deepen. So if you don't have your hand pressing in behind you, that actually might really change your twist. It's definitely opening up more of my shoulder here. And I'm actually not twisting nearly as deep as I would if I were to be pushing into that hand. So are you okay with those little changes? Maybe you look over that shoulder. Let's take one more breath. Exhale, release. Start to bring that hand back around, reaching. Bring yourself back towards center. Bring hands, touch, press into the hands. Roll those shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Nice big breath in. Nice big breath out. Let's switch the feet. So opposite foot on top or in front. Unless you have your legs extended or are sitting on a chair, then just stay as you are. Doing great there. Let's roll those shoulders back and down. Let's take just a couple of shoulder rolls, really intentionally squeezing them up as high as you can, pushing them as far back as you can, dropping them as far down. If you want, you can pull them all the way forward, all the way up, almost like you're making a little box, and down, or you can just do the nice circle motion. Excellent. Find that stillness. Relax through the arms. Let's inhale, reach those arms up, reach up nice and tall. Imagine maybe you're holding the moon or the sun or a block, or you can even grab a block if you've got one. Keep reaching those arms up and then roll those shoulder blades back and down, pull that core in. Let's tip over towards one side. You can drop that hand down and open up through that top shoulder. So even if you're hardly in your side bend here, just a couple of inches, that's okay. If that's what your body wants, you embrace it. Maybe you want to start tipping all the way off camera. Can I cut my head off? Oh, look at that. Getting into my nice deep side bend. Actually feels really good tonight. Taking one more nice breath. Maybe you reach the arm a little bit farther. Maybe you come onto forearms or sink a little bit lower. Pressing into that bottom hand, start to come all the way up. Reach up. And exhale over towards the other side. Drop that arm down. Spin that top arm open. Maybe the gaze goes up. That'll help force that top shoulder back. Maybe you reach a little bit farther. Maybe you sink a little deeper. Notice where you're holding tension. So I'm holding so much tension today that my knees are actually floating up. Can you start to relax into that? Relax that low back, relax those hip flexors. Keep going with that nice big breath. One more full breath. Take that nice big inhale. And exhale, press on all the way up. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Pressing in, roll the shoulders back and down. Outstanding. Let's make our way into an all fours position. So maybe you're just rolling over your knees into your all fours. I gotta spin around here and still be on my mat. Excellent. All right, taking a little moment here. Let's just warm up the spine some more. So that nice cat-cow breath. Dropping the belly down, starting to look up. Take that nice big inhale on that motion. And exhale, start to tuck the chin around through the spine. Maybe you press into those hands. Maybe you really accentuate that rounding through the spine. And take that breath, breathing in, dropping everything down. So this is actually like a nice back bend here. And then that exhale, more of that exhale cough as I just did. Pressing in, countering that twist. I think I probably do these the slowest in everyone in a class. So if you want to go faster than I currently am, I love to exaggerate these. I swear I can feel every single one of my vertebrae bending and moving, and as I take a moment to press in extra, I can find that length. Then it's really, actually, this is probably one of my favorite stretches for the spine, just because I can really connect inwards and feel it. All right, let's come to that nice neutral position and send those right toes back. Let me just move my camera here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Ooh, Emily, hello. Okay, if I put this up against my other webcam, bend that down. Maybe that'll still work. Ha-ha. Ha-ha. Hey, okay, all right, right foot back. Getting ready to get a nice stretch here. So maybe you're trying to square those hips down with the mat. Is that right one floating up? Maybe you are pressing more into that heel. Excellent, just getting a nice little stretch. Let's float that leg up. So make sure those toes are still pointing down. Excellent. Then bring knee towards right wrist. And kick it back up. So we're gonna take 5 of these, just warming up through the hip, maybe using a little bit of core. Feeling that nice stretch. Maybe getting into the wrists a little bit. If you don't often do an all-fours position or downward dog, then this might be really sore on your wrists. All right, let's float that leg back behind us, toes pointing down. Excellent, find that length through the crown of the head. And let's bring that foot out towards that 3 o'clock position. So out towards the side of the body, pressing into it. And then let's come up onto the knee, maybe pressing that hand into it. Let me just turn here so we can be fully a part of our party here. So high up on that leg. Beautiful. Let's take a moment, inhale, reach those arms up. Maybe you come to steeple, having the pointer fingers reaching up, and maybe take a nice side bend over towards that extended leg. So getting into the side body tonight. Starting to warm up there. Beautiful. I'm taking a couple little pulses here. I've started pulsing in these longer holds just to play around with it, dealing with some more active movement. All right, let's come all the way up and over towards the other side. I'm dropping my left hand down into the ground, reaching my right hand up. Excellent. So if you want to play around with balance, that's maybe one thing you're working on, you can start to float that leg up. That also uses some strength as well. So taking just a couple, lowering down and lift the leg. So let's take 5 of those little motions. Feeling how that actually, so we're squeezing through the obliques here, using our side body muscles to lift and lower, but we're also using the standing leg, those hip flexors, the glute, the low back, those muscles are also active here to lift and lower that leg. Beautiful. Let's take one more, lift and hold, nice and strong, reach up, look up. Beautiful, lower that foot back down, reach the hand overhead, feel that nice big stretch, find that length over the toes. Excellent. And on that exhale, drop that hand down, journey hand over hand, back towards that all-fours position, and tuck that right knee in. If you need to give your wrist a little break here, give them a nice little shake, or you can sway your hips from side to side. Beautiful. All right, send those left toes back. Just come at a bit of an angle here. Pressing into the toes, maybe even imagining that heel coming down. You can take a nice little pulse to stretch through those calves and the feet. Remembering to breathe, always nice and good. Find that stillness, press into the hands. Imagine dialing the arms and shoulders out. So you're finding that extra bit of length and strength here. And float the leg up. Toes still pointing down, roll that hip down. Excellent, bring knee towards left wrist. So taking a couple of these on this side. I know I did more than 5 on the other side. Must have got chatting. Thanks for loving me anyway. Kick it out, bring it in. Excellent. Couple more, feeling that nice squeeze, warming up through the hip. Beautiful. One more, knee towards wrist. Send that foot back, really pressing into it. Outstanding. Then start to swing that leg over to that 9 o'clock position. And press on up. Coming in. Maybe your hands just hang out on your hips. Maybe you need a little pillow for that knee, always a great option. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Nice and tall. Take your little side bend over towards that extended leg. Nice stretch through that side of the body. We take a couple nice little pulses here. Easing off and maybe going a little deeper. Feeling that release. Excellent. Come on up. Reach out towards the other side. Drop that right hand down, left hand up. So maybe you're just hanging out here. Maybe working on finding that length through the arms. Maybe you bring the hand overhead if you want a little more for the shoulder. Or you can start to float that left leg up. Just waiting here because it looks like my video froze. A big orange tag along the top. Who knows? How terrible. Oh look, it's green again right when I'm getting up to fix it. Okay, back down and in. Sorry if you're holding that for forever. I think it's just my mom watching, so me and you, Mom, we'll do the yoga. Beautiful. All right, bringing that foot up, taking maybe some of those nice taps down, so lowering the foot down and up, taking a couple of these. I don't really remember how many we did on the other side. So distracting, trying to make sure internet's working, video's working. Beautiful. Taking just a couple more. Feeling that nice big squeeze. Maybe the side's already feeling warmer quicker. Feeling that heat generating. That's because of connective tissue. Everything's connected, so the fact that we work the other side is already prepping this side. Beautiful. Drop that foot down. Reach up nice and tall. And exhale. Plant that left hand down. Walk hand over hand. Back to that all fours position. Find the length through the spine. Bring that knee in. You can sit back, give those wrists a nice little shake. And then coming in, tucking the toes under, pressing up into our downward dog this evening. We won't do many of these, so take advantage of it while you can. Maybe pedal up the feet. Maybe you find that big stretch through the arms, dropping the head down. Feel that strength. Excellent. Let's look towards the top of our mat. Maybe you take a big step. Maybe you take a hop, a jump, a float, a bunch of little steps into a nice forward fold. Beautiful. Let's inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back roll, the shoulders back and down. Bend the knees, sink hips. My favorite way to come up to standing is through a chair pose. Press all the way up or reach up. Hands heart center. Beautiful. Taking a moment here to feel into the feet. Feeling into the knees, the hips. How does the back feel? Roll the shoulders back and down. Excellent. And let's step that right foot back. Coming into our nice high lunge position. Start with your hands on your hips. Roll left hip back, right hip forward. High up on those back toes. Pressing into the mat nice and firm. Bring a bend through that front knee. Feeling it through those upper quads, those hip flexors. Maybe if you're bowing forward a bit, try to bring those shoulders over the hips. Excellent. Inhale, reach up. Nice and strong. Exhale, just bow things down. So either reaching for your mat or bring your arms onto your knee, really wherever you feel most stable, where you can start to lower that back knee down. Coming into your low lunge variation, adjusting the knee and the ankle, finding that nice length. Excellent. Just this low network connection. Here we go. Okay, we're still trying to use Wi-Fi, so now we're just going to use data to try to stream this. So we made our way into a low lunge connection, or low lunge position. I don't know when the connection took off there. So left foot is forward, right knee is down. If you're looking to catch up or join in, maybe you can get both hands down. Maybe you need 2 blocks or a couple of books. Just starting to feel that nice stretch through the quad. And taking a couple little pulses here. Excellent. And then now I'm going to straighten through that front leg, coming into my runner's stretch. And so if you want, you can just simply bring the shoulders over the hip and work on extending that leg, maybe nice and straight, maybe flexing through the toes. Imagine still lifting that kneecap or squeezing in that kneecap in an upward motion to protect all the tendons in that knee. So you can either stay up nice and high here, or if you want to get in a little bit more to the right leg, that's when you can start to maybe reach your hands down or journey the sits bones down, either onto the foot or onto the mat, onto a block. Just activating through there. If you did come all the way down, maybe you want to reach for the toes. Maybe you want to find the length to that crown of the head, keeping a nice flat back. So folding forward here, we'll continue to pull on those hamstrings, which is still applicable. If you're high up, flexing the foot, if you're feeling good there, then you can start to fold forward. It really is the exact same stretch. Just depends what position you want the knee in and how much weight you want on that back foot. Beautiful. Nice big runner stretch. Let's bring the shoulders back over the hips. You're sitting down on your foot, journey back up. Bring a bend through that front leg, coming back into that nice runner's stretch. Excellent. Nice and strong. Let's frame that front foot. We'll work on getting there and tuck the back toes under. Maybe using those hands to stabilize as you press up into that back leg. And sweep the arms up. Beautiful. Excellent. Reach on. Maybe you want the crescent lunge. Maybe you want to sink a little deeper. Maybe you want to add the back bend in here. You can come back towards neutral and step towards the top of the mat. Excellent. Let's inhale. Reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. And stepping left foot back. Coming into that nice high lunge position. Hands on hips. Roll right hip back, left hip forward. Maybe your quad needs you to be bowing down a little bit. Maybe you want that extra challenge of bringing the shoulders up or bending into that knee. Finding that length here. Enjoying the stretch. If you want, you can pulse it a bit, bending into that front leg. Trying to keep those hips nice and square to the front of the mat. Right, find that stillness. Let's inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale. Maybe you bring those forearms where you touch down. Then drop that back knee down, coming into that nice low lunge position. Keep rolling right hip back. Trying to feel that nice quad stretch here. You can take a couple more little pulses. Just try to get that muscle to release. And then starting to straighten through that front leg. Coming into that runner stretch. So maybe you want to stay high up. Maybe you want to tend to the fingers or use a block. And maybe you can get your hands all the way down. Add a flex to that foot. So bring the toes in towards the body. Pull up on that kneecap. So squeezing that knee up towards the hip as much as you can. Protecting that knee joint. Excellent. So if you want here, you can simply pulse it in that forward fold. So lowering down and coming up. Just try not to compensate into that low back. Maybe you sit down on that left foot. Who knows? I'm enjoying being up here. Feeling a good stretch on that hamstring for me. Connecting in. Feeling that breath. Nice big hamstring stretch. Excellent. Let's bring a bend to that knee. And if you're sitting on your foot, journey back up. Bend through the knee. Frame that front foot. Take a moment here. Tuck the back toes under. And maybe with helping hands, you press in, lifting that back knee with control. And sweep on up. Beautiful high lunge. Maybe you want the crescent lunge with the back bend added in. Maybe you want the boss arms addition. Opening up through those shoulders, finding length there. Excellent. This feels great. I feel like I could hang out in this lunge position. Woo. Or lose my balance, either or. All right, release those hands now. Then take a big step towards the top of the mat. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink into your chair pose. I've got my feet closer together here. Let me just face you. So I'm pressing into my knees, maybe even into my ankles, into my toes. Lots of stability found here. I sink a little deeper. And press all the way up, just starting to reach up. Exhale, sink back into your chair pose. Beautiful. Trying to maybe lengthen, bring those shoulders over the hips, bending through the legs a little more. Press all the way up, reach up. Excellent, this time I'm bringing my feet a little bit wider. Actually, tons wider. Exhale into that chair pose. Beautiful. So here I'm halfway between my chair pose and a yogi squat. So I'm not hanging out my joints. I'm still working hard here. Finding that length through the crown of the head. Sink a little lower. Press all the way up. Reach on up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep up. I'm going to heel some of my feet back in. Exhale, forward fold. Drop the head down. Give it a nice V-shaped no. Excellent. Beautiful. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Take a big step back into that nice downward dog position. Excellent. And let's make our way into a pigeon pose. So if you want to drop that down onto all fours to make this really gentle, that is an option. I'm going to start with my left leg. So I'm bringing my left knee towards my left wrist. And then I'm kind of swinging my foot outwards. So hips are still squared towards the front of the mat. Finding that spot that feels good. If you're in your downward dog, you swing the knee and kind of let the leg plant where it is. So the more you bring your foot up, the more support you'll actually have on that knee. I mean, so my chiropractor says. I'm starting here, squeezing into the glutes. Let's be nice and strong. This is not quite a restorative, relaxing pigeon. And this is us getting into those hip flexors, into the glute muscles, maybe even into the low back a little bit. So I still have lots of my body weight into my hands. If you want more core, you can tent the fingers. Start to squeeze through the legs. Maybe even float the hands up. You can take a couple pulses here, squeezing up and down. Tenting into the fingers, keeping this just in between, the restorative and whatnot. My quads are telling me they're super tight, so I'm going to bend through my back knee, simply because I like it and it feels good and I'm feeling stable enough to do so. I'm even going to reach back behind with a foot just to deepen into that quad stretch, pulling the foot towards the glute. So I'm still staying really strong through my hip muscles here. I'm getting a nice big stretch on my quad. Beautiful. All right, I'm releasing my foot without slingshotting it, tucking those back toes under. But instead of kicking up and around, I'm simply going to roll down onto my sits bones and come so that my toes are pointing up, or my right toes are pointing up, left toes are coming in. You can always adjust the stance as you need to, so bringing your legs closer together makes this easier, wider apart. This gets into different muscles, works a little better. Feels really good on my hips for this. Excellent, sitting up nice and tall, sinking into those sits bones. So can you have both sits bones connecting in with the mat? Lots of times we'll lean over towards that bent knee side. Find that nice openness. Give that right foot a little bit of shake. You can't quite see it on camera. I'm just kind of shaking it here, getting into that hip flexor. Excellent, sitting nice and tall and strong. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, roll those shoulders back and down. And now I'm gonna grab my left knee, hugging it in towards my body. Taking a moment to adjust the foot to where it feels best for you. Nice big hug and squeeze. Excellent. I'm gonna bring that foot to the other side of my leg, getting ready to come into a nice twist here. So you can just hold on to the leg with the hands, or I have my hands interlaced, kind of locking it in, and you can simply just roll your left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Or if you want, you can hang on to that knee with just the right hand. Reach that hand all the way around, just like we did before. Nice big twist. I'm pressing it in to that second spine position, right behind the small of the back and the floor here, right where the spine would connect. And I'm staying active through my right foot. So toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Finding that nice big stretch. Holding here, we're going to take 5 full deep breaths, or 3 to 5, depending on how big and slow you breathe. I'll take 3. Taking one more nice big breath. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, maybe to move into the space of that exhale, deepening ever so slightly. And let's start to release by lifting that hand back behind you up. Reach it out and give that knee a nice big hug and squeeze. But keep the foot over the leg. And let's just change the position here by bringing a bend to that extended leg. So maybe with a healthy hand, you pull it in towards the sits bones, or you can wiggle it if you don't have a super sticky mat like I do. Option here is to hang out here, or if you want, you can get even more external rotation, trying to align knee with knee. So coming into our cow face pose. Taking a moment, imagining those shins being nice and flat, still pressing into that sits bone. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, so you can bow forward. So even if you're resting your elbows on your knee and your head or your chin is in your hands, or maybe you need a block, or it's just out of reach, to prop that up for your little fold, just so that you can have your head resting on something. Maybe you can bow it down, drop your head onto your knee. This is a great stretch for that low back. And taking a couple nice full rounds of breath here. Taking one more nice big inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, release. Softening. Inhale, starting to come up slowly. Bring the shoulders back over the hips. Pressing in nice and tall and strong. And now bringing that top leg, my left leg, I'm going to just pick it up and hold it as I adjust my bottom leg into more of that 90-degree angle. And I'm going to try to connect ankle with knee and knee with ankle. So even if you're super high up, usually I can get all the way down with no problem here, but I must be stressed. My hips are very noticeably different than they usually are. So trying to stack is a lot harder and feeling lots of pull through that left hip. If you need a little block or a pillow or something to prop up the space, that is a great option. Trying to keep that knee and that ankle aligned. See if I can shimmy and relax. I'm taking a little moment. I'm just going to do a little side bend here. I'll pulse it out. See if I can find that bit of depth. I'm even noticing, look at that, so much better. Beautiful, beautiful fire log pose. Whatever yours looks like. Let's inhale, sit up nice and tall and strong. Excellent. If you want more into that hip, you can reach opposite hand to that knee and get one more nice twist in. Should feel that pretty immediately through that spiral line of the body. Nice fascial lines there. Let's exhale, release. Come back to that nice seated position and simply just connect in with the breath. Maybe you remember that intention from the beginning of class. Feeling that strong release. Beautiful. One more full inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, side out. If you want, you can take one more of those if you miss it on the side. Inhale. Exhale, side out. Excellent. Let's start to journey out of this puppy here. So, I'm going to lean back first of all, and I'm going to just hold on to my top leg and work on extending it nice and long, real nice and slow. Beautiful. Extend my other leg nice and long. You can plant the hands by the hips, and windshield wiper either through the feet, or you can bend the knees, drop them from side to side. Feel that nice big pull. What a huge difference that made even on that one side. Can't wait to do the other one. So, making your way back into either downward dog or all fours position. So really, however you want to get here. Not the most graceful transition I've ever thought of, just straight up telling you to get there. But work with it anyway. So we're coming back into that nice pigeon pose. So maybe from your all fours, you just start to bring that right knee towards the right ankle. But I don't love this way of getting into it, because lots of times we just add lots of that flexion onto that knee. So if you're able to come into a downward dog, then bring that right foot up. Start to swing the knee towards the ankle and kick that foot out to the side. You'll find more of that natural landing zone. Staying nice and strong through that as we set up through this. We want to protect that piriformis, which is often overstretched. And if you don't have blocks and props at home, you do want to extra protect this. So pressing into those hands nice and firm, roll those shoulders back and down. You can give those glutes a nice big squeeze, squeezing into those hip flexors, squeezing into the thighs. So strong that maybe you can tent the fingers, pull that core in, float the hands up. Excellent. Come back down to keep that nice engagement all the way through. Maybe you're just hanging out here, working on finding that length through the crown of the head. Or if you want, you can get into that quad on the other side by bending through the knee. Maybe you reach around for the foot. Oh, this quad is extra tight. Just what I needed was this pose right here. Connecting with that breath, feeling that length starting to happen. Beautiful. All right, without slingshotting, if you've got that back foot, start to release it back down. Plant that right hand. Excellent. And come out of this, we're simply rolling onto that right sits bone, coming around and extending the leg, hugging that foot in. It seems I'm not going to do this whole sequence with my back towards you. Let me spin around. Why, hello. Much better. So finding that length, that extending, taking a little moment here to give that foot a little shake from side to side. Beautiful. Adjusting through the feet, rooting into both of those sits bones. Oh yeah. Excellent. Let's sit nice and tall and strong. And then let's hug that right knee in towards the chest. If you want, you can adjust through the feet here. I like mine a little bit more straight. My right foot out a little bit more, so I've got lots of space between my knee and my ankle. Sit nice and tall. Hug that knee. Feel that nice resistance. So hugging onto the knee is actually a great little anchor point here. Getting into those sits bones, finding that length, and then start to float that right leg up. Bring it across the other leg. Either simply holding on here if that's deep enough for you, or if you want, you can Start to add that twist, maybe just looking over that right shoulder or holding on to that leg with your left hand. Reach that arm all the way around, pressing in like that second spine. Find that length, a nice big inhale, and exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. Connecting in, feeling that nice breath. Excellent. Beautiful twist here through that spine. I find this tonight, at least for me, it's more of a glute stretch, more of a hip stretch than anything. All right, let's start to untwist, coming back to that neutral, but keep the leg crossed over. And then swinging that left foot in, coming into that nice other variation here. So just maybe hugging the knee in. I remember if I twisted on the other side here, or if we went right into our cow face legs. I think we went right into cow face. So trying to align knee over knee. That foot can be in it right underneath your sits bones if you want, or you can walk it out a little bit more. Really, whichever you'd like. Just keep trying to roll that right sits bones down. Nice big stretch. Excellent. Inhale. Get nice and tall. Beautiful. And if you want more, you can add the twist in here, putting that hand on top of the leg and rooting in, twisting towards the right. Connecting with that breath, maybe starting to become aware of how you're feeling, the emotional side of things. Maybe all these hip twists are triggering some emotions for you. That's totally normal. Excellent. Start to untwist. Simply hanging out here, nice and tall. If you want more, you can start to come down into a little bit of a forward fold. Maybe you rest the elbows on the leg. Hold the chin up. Remember to smile. Tell yourself you're looking so cute, looking so fantastic. Noticing how one side can be totally different than the other side, and give yourself permission. You don't have to be a perfect mirror of one side to the other. Maybe you've got something going on. Maybe there's a little motion happening. Taking a little rock to side, because this glute is actually so tight. This feels killer this evening. That's okay. If it is actually really hard, your knees don't have to be perfectly stacked on top of each other to make it easier. Slide that leg off a little bit, or if that stretch feels good. I feel like I'm like right on the cusp of my edge here. So it feels good, it's a bit of a challenge. You can start to release and process it. All that good stuff. All right. Let's start our next journey here. So let's come on back up to seated if you're in that nice forward fold. And grabbing on to that top leg, starting to maybe lean back a little bit and undoing this, trying to bring that bottom leg into that nice 90 degrees. And now I'm connecting my top ankle with my bottom knee and vice versa on the other side, working on coming into that nice fire log position. Trying to get that hip down. Maybe you need a block or a pillow to fill any gaps or spaces between your knees and feet and floor. Maybe you can find that length, roll your shoulders back and down, sit nice and tall. Are you hunching into this? Excellent. Maybe you want to try the twist on this side, so reaching for that top knee with your opposite hand, so left hand to right knee. Reach that hand back around, get a nice extra twist in. While these twists are working with our liver and spleen meridians, in our yin practice, our meridians are important. That deals with emotions, anxiety, fear, anger, and it targets into those. If you were with me yesterday, maybe you need to roll your R's a little bit to stimulate that prefrontal cortex. That sound does that. Pressing the tongue or rolling it on the top of your mouth there. All right, let's start to untwist this bad boy. So that's sitting nice and tall and strong. Let's start to work our way out of it. So I'm bringing my hands close to my hips, leaning back ever so slightly. And slowly move, very, very slowly. Releasing one leg nice and long. Release the other. Give those feet a little shake. Windshield wipering through the feet will actually target a little more into the hips. But if you'd rather plant the legs and actually roll from side to side, great option too. Get some more into the glutes. Excellent. All right, one more little hip opener for us this evening. So make your way into seated. Bring the soles of the feet together. My favorite little cobbler pose here. So maybe if you just want to sit upright and cobbler, that might feel really good. Maybe you're trying to get those heels closer towards your sits bones. If you want to release more into that low back, that's where that forward fold comes in. So starting to maybe grab onto the ankles or the top of the toes. Maybe start to fold forward ever so slightly. You can do this with a nice flat back, rolling those shoulders back and down. You can start to drop the chin down. You can drop those shoulders down. Doing all those posture things to say not to do, but do them here. You can. It feels great. Nice big inhale. And nice exhale. Excellent. All right, let's start to come on back up. So online, I don't hold my restorative poses for quite as long as I would in a room. Usually we'd only do 2 or 3 of these to finish off a class, holding for around 3 to 5 minutes. But I find it so much harder online, especially if you don't have props. I never know what you guys have at home. And by no means do I want you guys to give pain. So maybe with helping hands, we bring the knees back up, sitting up nice and tall. And then making your way into a nice reclined position. So maybe you hug those knees and roll over the spine, nice and slow. Takes a little bit of control. Come all the way down. Or just make your way into a nice reclined position and hug the knees in towards the chest. Connecting in with that breath. Take a nice big inhale. Feel that spine pressing in. Exhale, let it go. Roll the shoulders back and down. Slight tuck of the chin. Beautiful. So we've done lots of twisting this evening. Usually I finish off with a twist, but let's just move right into our happy baby. So we're reaching through the legs for the feet or the back of the knees. Starting to pull the knees in towards the underarms. Feet go up towards the ceiling. Take your nice little roll from side to side. Resetting through the spine. Maybe you want to extend the legs long. Maybe you want to bring one in, bring the other one along. Wow, whatever you want to do to play around. I love just hugging my feet in. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. iPhone edition, using my data edition. You can take this time to explore a little freestyle, a little bit of movement. You can take your final Shavasana. Maybe you want legs up the wall. That would feel great. After all of that, try to extend the legs long. Take that nice good morning stretch. Working through all the body. And then figure out how you want to settle in for the rest of your Shavasana time. Thank you for joining me this evening for our Friday night yin yang. Hopefully I see you again soon. Or thanks for at least previewing what I do every night at 8. You're always welcome to join. Let's do yoga together and stay connected. So have a nice night, and I will see you tomorrow or next time. My mom's still watching. Hi, Callie dog. Miss you, puppy.